So what I did here is I laid this on here. I drew a line from corner to corner, went across, and it runs off right here. So I'm going to take this now to the paper cutter, and I'm going to trim it right there. So I'll be back in a jiffy here, and I'll cut that back to the size I need to cut it. Okay, once again, the paper cutter arm has got to be tight. So bring it down tight. Make sure you don't have your fingers in there. Otherwise, you'll chop them off. Okay, next. So now, what I want to do is I'm going to make a grid. And I got a really simple way to make a grid. It's so simple, it's ingenious, okay? And because I figured it out, it makes it even more ingenious. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to make a grid like this on my shoes, where I actually put lines across here. And how I'm going to do it is I'm going to take this sheet of paper, okay, and I'm going to fold it up. So I'm just going to fold it like this, crease it really well, fold it again. Okay, so right now this would have 4 sections. I'm going to fold it one more time. And just because I'm feeling pretty crazy today, I'm going to fold it one more time. Right here. So I folded it 4 times. Got it in half every time. So when I open it up, I have this piece of paper now that has 4 sections. It's got creases on here. Now I know you can probably barely see the creases on here. So what I'm going to do is take a colored pencil. And it doesn't really matter what color, just something different than your regular pencil. I chose red the first time I did it. You could use green or blue or some other color, probably not yellow, that's pretty light. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a grid on top of this. So I'll take my ruler, and before these creases disappear, I'm just gonna go over this and start putting lines over the top of it. Does that make sense? Got it? Here's one that I previously did that to. I put my lines on there, okay? Now, I'm going to do the same thing to this piece of paper. So once again, I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to do it kind of fast. Fold it again. Fold it again, and maybe crease it pretty tight. Make sure the creases stay. Fold it another time. And then one more time. The final time is a little bit hard because you folded it 4 times now. And now I open that up, and I'm going to have those same exact squares, okay, or rectangles, I should say. And then I'm going to go over those with a colored pencil. And since I did red, the other one, I'm going to use red again. So you only need a colored pencil for a very short time. So I'm going to draw that line in there, that line in there, that one. And I know you probably can't see the creases. I can see them up close. But once I get this grid on here, I'll be able to see them pretty well. Okay? So there you go. And I've got my grid. Now, here's the small grid. Here's the big grid. I'm going to number the grid just because I get confused. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go A, B, C, D. That way I know which square is which. I'll do the same thing on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D. Now, I'm going to proceed to draw the shoes. So what I need to do is I'm going to call these, I'm going to mark some points on here. Okay? So for example, this corner of the shoe here, if I was to divide square A up, okay? I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. So you can see I'm dividing square A up here. Okay? And I'm going to zoom in with this too so that our viewers at home can see it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this. If I was to divide this in half, and I was to divide it in half this way, I'll turn it sideways. Okay, so if I was to divide it in half that way, I'd put a line right there. So I'm using the grid. Now, I can see that this shoe is running off above that halfway mark. It's intersecting about there. It's coming over and it's grazing this line right here. Do you see that? So it's grazing this line, okay? And so I'm going to put marks like that. Now, it doesn't have to be exact. Like you notice this particular drawing, there's a little bump right here. You know, if my bump is a little bit off, so what? It's still going to look okay. Okay, but for the most part, I want to get the major features of this shoe. So I'm going to come in here, and you can see the B area. That shoe comes down to about there. So that's that part of the shoe. And then down here, you can see this shoe and the lace run right at about the halfway mark. So I know that as I'm drawing this, okay, there's kind of a lump here, and this kind of comes out like that, and then my shoe is like this. So I'm using the grid, okay? So I'm using the grid to locate and get the proper sizes, because it is pretty hard to draw things really big, okay? Now, once again, now I'll do that for other parts of my shoes. You know, I might redivide this up. I'm going to use green this time. I'm going to redivide this. That'll help me locate other parts of the shoes. So here we go. And then this is coming in like this. Now I'm going to go kind of fast, but you get the idea. Do you not? Yes or no? Say something here.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So here's the bottom of my shoe there. And then there's a heel back here, kind of, or a little bit of a thing back here. And here's this part. So that's my first shoe. And then, of course, I'm going to draw all the details in here, where the laces are and stuff like that. There's this thing up here that kind of does this. I guess I'm zoomed out too far. Now let's go back out to where I was. So there we go. And so I'm getting those details in. So I will draw in all these parts of the shoe. You don't have to draw in every detail, but I want to know where the laces are and where things are going and so on, okay? Obviously, you take more time than that. So that's what we're doing right now, okay? We are going to put a grid on your small. First, do the diagonal enlargement. Second, fold this up, put lines on it. Third, fold this up, put lines on it. Fourth, I'm going to use this grid to help me draw the shoe bigger. Got that? Once the shoe is drawn, darken your lines in so you can see them better than you can. Then I'm going to take a a white sheet of drawing paper, and I'm going to lay it on top of here, and I'm going to transfer all the lines onto my drawing paper. And just like that little shoe square we did, okay, it's just that we're doing the whole shoe instead of the shoe square. Got that? So that's what we're doing next.